Expansion was discussed both at a committee level and at the board, and ultimately the league office was tasked by our board with doing an in-depth.
Hi everyone, I'm back today with yet another fascinating and thrilling film. Without further ado, alright, let's get started. Professional basketball has abruptly evolved in a way that nobody could have predicted. Everyone has been debating the same name for months. Behind the scenes, while everyone else was focused on numbers, the most powerful man in the sport was organizing a much more calculated move. And shooting percentages. Adam Silver has formally assumed control, and the decision he recently took over. The Wnba has a slow-growth mindset. Caitlin Clark has practically rocked the league's front offices. And a number of limitations for many years. Nevertheless, that time frame ended when Silver decided to see the league as the primary driver of the NBA's future rather than as a side project. The grim reality of this choice goes beyond promoting and selling jerseys. The new structure is a significant overhaul, and not everyone is happy with it. Of the game's administration, the sudden shift in emphasis appears to be an insult to the veterans who have spent decades building this league, but the numbers are correct from a business perspective. Silver concluded that the Caitlin Clark phenomenon required a harsh level of protection since it was more than just a fad. Billion-dollar potential. This was more than just a suggestion or a gentle reminder to the WNBA's leadership. This rule changed how the game was marketed, officiated, and even transported. Silver chose to put tradition ahead of a substantial financial gain, enabling the other players to must determine their position in this new world order. When Clark initially took the court as a professional, but none could have predicted the level of hostility that seemed to trail her every move. The welcome to the league moments started to resemble deliberate violence rather than rivalry. From flagrant violations that resembled football tackles to mid-court shoulders. If you enjoy this material, think about liking this video and subscribing to the channel. Surprisingly, almost 87% of people have not. Have you already subscribed? It's free and just takes a moment, but it means a lot to us. Fantastic. I sincerely appreciate your support. Let's return to the video. At this stage, the league administration had to make a choice that would influence the sport's 10-year future. Silver reportedly came to the conclusion that after witnessing the greatest player in the league get knocked out, their play mentality was bad for business. Down game after game. The rookie sensation was effectively targeted by any veteran who tried to serve as an enforcer. By this ruthless decision, many players think that the rules are being altered on the spot to shield one person, which has created a significant rift in the locker rooms. Nevertheless, it is evident from the ratings why this choice was made. Clark's games are watched by 10 times as many people as ordinary games. In addition, the league cannot afford for, due to an injury, a disgruntled veteran forced their golden ticket to remain on the bench. The game's flow has entirely. It is now faster, more scoring, and more perimeter-focused as a result of this protectionist approach. Silver has been creating just that sort of basketball in the NBA for many years. During the basketball selection. Nevertheless, the tension escalated to a point where the league is still not fully forgiven by many fans. At first glance, it appeared to be a basketball decision. She was under more experienced players in the hierarchy. However, industry insiders have speculated a far more planned and harsh reason for her removal. Rumor had it that the league administration, greatly influenced by NBA experts, wanted her to stay at home. Why would they prefer that their most talented celebrities not participate in foreign events? The answer is simple. Total command and fatigue management. The WNBA maintained exclusive access to her narrative and ensured that she would keep her in the US so she wouldn't burn out before the most profitable part of the season. It was a calculated wager that prioritized the league's financial success over each player's personal growth. Player's global legacy. The league was taken aback by this choice since it showed that Clark's organic development is not what the decision-makers want. To benefit from the league's new multi-billion-dollar television deal, they want to maximize every moment of her time. As a result of the immediate consequences, fans felt duped. However, the commercial result was a revitalized, enthusiastic superstar who returned to the court and continued to break all viewing records. In relation to previous TV deal, the new $2.2 billion deal has significantly changed in size. The power dynamics between the NBA and WNBA. For a long time, the WNBA was perceived as a league that frequently required subsidies in. Nevertheless, Silver used the rookie statistics as the primary bargaining chip with Disney in order to break even NBC and Amazon during the height of the Clark effect. The terrible part of this choice was that it decreased the internal leadership of the WNBA to a supporting role. Silver took the initiative and successfully notified everyone that the NBA's overseas media strategy now heavily relies on the WNBA. Better production quality. This will result in more national TV games and a shift away from the league's former niche sport atmosphere. Even though the players benefit greatly from the revenue inflow, the NBA's corporate apparatus is now closely monitoring the league. Future profits. Every technical foul, controversial tweet, and argument in the locker room is now handled with the intensity of a story about LeBron James or Steph Curry. The league has expanded into a bigger community. It is an essential business resource, and Silver has stated categorically that individuals who do not embrace the new professional standards will lag behind. The league's sudden demand for charter planes was one of the most noticeable changes brought about by this new era. WNBA players had to endure the harsh realities of commercial travel for years, including crowded middle seats, long waits in security lines, and delays. The league's explanation was always the cost, but when security concerns over Clark's massive teams were essentially compelled to upgrade their procedures overnight when viewers began making headlines on a daily basis by authorizing private travel worth tens of millions of dollars. While this was a significant win for player health and safety, because they were unprepared for such a significant rise in overhead, the smaller market teams were under extreme strain. This decision was made with more than just comfort in mind. Silver was making a statement to the world that the WNBA is no longer a second-tier league, even if it requires them to spend money they haven't yet made. If the league wants to market itself as a top global brand, it must look the part. However, this expenditure to make this strategy, which is a conventional Silver method, marks a significant and risky departure from the standard in women's sports, but the fast growth plan is the most controversial part of this new path. Silver wants to expand the league, not just preserve it. The league's rapid expansion has many worried about the dilution of skill, with new teams relocating to Golden State, Portland, and Toronto. The hard reality for current players is that expansion drafts will soon plunder their rosters, upsetting the league's competitive balance. This is directly linked to the desire to capitalize on the Clark period while it is still hot. Quick growth. There must be more games, markets, jerseys to sell, and inventories. For the league, the knowledge that the strategy of cautious, progressive expansion was dropped the moment the league was startled when the jersey became the best-selling item in professional sports. The current players are feeling apprehensive about the actual terms of the upcoming collective bargaining agreement because the business is expanding faster than the union can keep up. The way the administration handled the purported competition and jealousy. The league's internal culture has also been disrupted by scandals. The WNBA once placed a strong emphasis on togetherness and sisterhood. However, Silver's team has realized that drama sells. This has been a drastic departure from the league's traditional marketing plan to take advantage of the rivalry between Clark and other well-known rookies like Angel Reese. Instead of downplaying the conflict, the league is instead highlighting it to boost social media. Due of the WNBA's marketing becoming NBA feed, there is conflict between interaction and ticket sales. Players believe that they are being exploited as villains to promote the league's newest star's hero story, but the results are undeniable. In ways that no one could have predicted, Silver's risk on conflict-driven marketing is paying off. The league has never witnessed this degree of participation, not even 2 years ago. The commissioner's office has said unequivocally that the WNBA is no longer a project as the most recent set of rulings draws to a close. For growth, the old standards of earning your stripes have been replaced by the harsh reality of market value. Adam Silver's involvement has successfully pushed the league in a single season in this high-stakes business to reach adulthood by 10 years. Despite the obvious growing pains, there are also a lot of potential advantages. At this crucial point, every decision the league makes about Caitlin Clark represents the future of the sport. Whether you prefer the new course or yearn for the days of a more cohesive community, there is no going back. A league that could potentially have a cultural impact is being made possible by today's difficult decisions, similar to the NBA. And that journey started as soon as Silver decided to preserve his most valuable asset at all costs. The league may be shocked and the players may be incensed, but more people are watching. In the sports industry, it is the only metric that truly matters. These activities will have long-term consequences, especially if the upcoming generation of athletes sees the WNBA as a viable and profitable professional road rather than a pipe dream. The struggle between the younger and older generations will not end anytime soon. In fact, the league's decision-making process will become even more crucial as the stakes increase. Severe Everyone in the basketball world needs to perform their part now that Silver has placed his bets. It's still debatable if the league can maintain its integrity while aiming for the lofty goals put before it. One thing is certain, a highly dramatic, fast-paced, and lucrative version of the game that is just getting has replaced the WNBA we were familiar with a year ago. We wonder how far the commissioner is willing to go to ensure that. The decisions that shocked the league today are likely the reason why the Caitlin Clark era will never end. Merely the beginning of a much bigger change that will change women's sports globally. Uprisings in locker rooms have led to, only as a result of the officiating shift. Can you imagine learning overnight that rookie fouls are now the standard after 10 years of playing a physically demanding style of basketball? Silver provided clear guidance. She was the impetus behind Defend the Gunman, but it wasn't just about Clark. The league administration came to the finding that casual viewers watch for quick transitions rather than wrestling matches and logo threes. Silver successfully forced the WNBA to adopt the NBA's offensive-friendly mentality by raising the alarm. Coaches who have built their entire defensive persona around hostility described this strategy as severe. They had to give up years of preparation in a matter of weeks. The league's quick enforcement of the new rules was equally startling as the rules themselves. Referees who endorsed those who disobeyed were subject to severe examination, while those with an open manner were promoted to primetime roles. The players claimed that the league was prejudiced in favor of its new star, which caused them to become suspicious, because they believed they couldn't engage with Clark without sounding the alarm. Nevertheless, the league considered it a crucial development. You don't want a 40-foot lifter to be trapped in a clinch for 40 minutes. Instead, you want her to be free to offer the clips that gain popularity on social media. Silver is financing this viral economy. He knows that the league's every time Clark hits a stunning shot, his value rises by several $1 million. Nevertheless, the alienation of the leagues. The cost of that expansion is defensive specialists, who suddenly feel like antiques from a bygone era. According to the leaked internal. Clearly, the NBA was prioritizing entertainment value over fundamental basketball skills. This was seen by many as the ultimate betrayal of the WNBA's fundamental principles. It was always about being tough and earning every basket. Some now consider it to be a staged. The first-time attendees don't care about the past, even though the performance was meant to highlight a specific individual. They want to take part in the event because the show is important to them, and Silver is trying to make it as exciting and professional as possible. As much as possible. As a result, the league's best defenders are now extremely afraid to perform their duties. Peculiar situation. They know that a serious foul on Clark won't only result in a free throw. A week-long media cycle will depict them as the antagonist. The difficult decision-making procedure incorporates this psychological stress. The league is using this type of soft power to change the product. It is about presuming that the stars are untouchable without ever needing to formally change the laws. It took decades for the NBA to achieve this, from the Jordan era to the LeBron James era. It happens in real time throughout a single WNBA season. Teams are having to re-evaluate every facet of their scouting. The system is extremely stunned. Reports. Do you still try to defend yourself physically, or is your goal simply to outscore the opposition? The latter is becoming more and more the answer. This shift toward high scoring was particularly sought by the TV partners. Games. Silver met their demand for a product that looked like the NBA today. This has significant financial implications. As revenue rises, the salary cap will eventually rise. In 5 years, the men who are currently complaining will maybe the ones that land $20 million contracts, but the shift is now unsettling in terms of their standing and playing style. The veterans are suffering because they are being told to give way to the younger generation. And the league office's response to this modification has been anything but helpful. There have been several pointed lines drawn in the sand. Silver's team has made it clear that you either support or obstruct the new vision. The WNBA used to operate with far greater collaboration between the players and the front office. This type of top-down management is new. The collegial spirit has been replaced by a business urgency. There is a sense that the league cannot afford to waste its brief window of opportunity on sentimentality, which is why the choice about Clark was so unexpected. It signaled the beginning of the WNBA and the end of the league as a small player-driven league. As a significant influence in global media. This is having an impact on basketball everywhere. Shift. Foreign players that wish to participate in the WNBA are finding it more intriguing. Even international leagues are taking notice of the Clark phenomena. Clark is under extreme pressure. Additionally, she is not only a